The notion of being a good person of faith in the form of being anti-abortion and anti-homosexuality only started to come about around 40 years ago. In the 1970s, when the civil rights movements began, cis-straight white men who ran tax-exempt churches began to panic because the same segregation practices that kept them wealthy would no longer be allowed to slide. They needed a polite way to activate their evangelical followers to create a new agenda. That is when they started to focus on abortion. This is all happening 6 years after Roe v. Wade had passed. To that point, churches didn't have much to say about it. In fact, most agreed that life begins upon a human's first breath. Ronald Reagan, who was the governor of California at that time, signed one of the most liberal abortion laws in the country. And then the evangelicals, who were doing what their pastors prompted them to do under the guise of faith, threw their weight behind him, and that's when you started to see his career advance. And thus so the anti-abortion movement began, and the love affair with the fetus. It was how the religious right was born, is under pro-life and pro-family values. But the entire movement is founded on greed, racism, sexism, and homophobia. Women and queer people and minority people, I have to ask you something. When you go into that voting booth and you tell yourself that you are voting pro-life, who is truly benefiting from that? Ask yourself that question. It's not the unborn children, because I don't see any of your pastors getting their foster care licenses. I don't see any of these politicians willing to give a handout to single moms. Who really benefits from that movement outside of the patriarchy? It's not you. It's not me. It's not women in general. It's not minorities. It's not queer people. Ask yourself who really benefits from you voting pro-life.